Okay, so I know I'm a little behind in my recording. So today in the recording, I am going to record I think it's conduction and radiation. I'm going to record those two today. And after I finish with this recording, I'm also going to add another recording of just what we did today in class. So um radiation is in Monday's folder. But before I get to radiation, let me just go back to last week's folder. And I need to do conduction. And then I'll go to radiation. So conduction is in Tuesdays. I would just go through the live lesson, even though I have already taught this. I am just simply going to go through the live lesson over again. Um, okay, so here's the second type of heat transfer that I'm going to talk about with you guys. The second type of heat transfer I'm going to talk about is conduction. This is just a little about the author, the objectives. So when you guys are doing this, if you're doing it self-paced, you'll just answer the question which says, what do you think heat transfer is? And so after that, you have a message, or I'm sorry, you guys have what heat transfer is. And heat transfer is a transfer of heat from one object to another object. Heat can be transferred through radiation, conduction, and convection. And just remember, heat is always transferred from the warmer object to the cooler object. So once I made that connection, one of the things that stuck, what I think about, because I drink coffee in the morning, I think about when I go to the store and buy that cup of coffee. When I pick up that cup of coffee, it without the cup. I'm sorry. When I pick up the coffee cup, it is definitely cooler than the coffee itself. The cup does not become warm until I add the coffee, and that is when the heat is transferred. So it is the heat from the coffee that's being transferred to the coffee cup, which that's what's making a coffee cup warm. Okay, so again, heat is always transferred from the warmer object to the cooler object. And so here, if you were not in class, you do need to copy down these two bullets, as well as the title, what is conduction? Conduction is the transfer of heat between two objects that are touching. This can be two objects in direct contact, like a hand and a pot, or molecules touching each other. Okay. And this is just the video. You guys can watch the video on your own time, but you can watch the video your own time. In this video, the witch's hands were burned because of conduction. You're going to explain how the heat transferred from the liquid to her hands without her ever touching it. Here's another video about conduction. And then I have a question for you. I think I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna let you guys watch the video just in case. Yeah, I'm just gonna come back and let you guys watch the video. Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that.
Conduction. If you stir a boiling liquid with a plastic ladle, after a few moments, the ladle will become quite warm. The same will happen with a wooden ladle. And a ladle made of metal can even become too hot to handle. This is because the heat from the boiling liquid is able to travel up the length of the three ladles, quite slowly through plastic and wood, and very fast through metal. But how does heat manage to do this? How does heat travel through things? Well, when the hot liquid heats up the end of each ladle, its molecules, or in the case of metal, its individual atoms, start to vibrate more rapidly. And when the heated molecules, or heated atoms, vibrate faster, they start bumping faster and faster into their slower neighbors, causing them to speed up in turn, and bump into their neighbors, and so on all along the ladle. In this way, the increased speed of vibration, and therefore the heat, is passed on from molecule to molecule, or from atom to atom. It's like a row of dominoes knocking each other over. And this domino effect, which leads or conducts heat through any substance, is called, naturally enough, conduction. Non-metals, such as wood and plastic, conduct heat quite slowly. They are bad conductors of heat. In contrast, all metals conduct heat very rapidly. They are good conductors of heat. That's why the witch with the metal ladle got burned.
So I've talked about this question already. So you guys are gonna have to explain again how the witch's hands got hot, even though they never touched the liquid. We're gonna have another quick video, so let's watch this video.
One example of conduction is the sensation one gets when walking barefoot across hot sand. Your feet become extremely warm or even burned as the thermal energy of the sand is transferred to your feet. In this example of conduction, the sand has a higher temperature than your feet. Therefore, the molecules in the sand have a higher kinetic energy than your feet. On the other hand, if you were to run into a stream, heat from your feet is dissipated into the water, and your feet feel cooler. In both cases, thermal energy is transferred by conduction from particle to particle. Transfer of thermal energy by conduction can occur in solids, gases, and liquids.
Okay, so they have a question after the video. Hopefully you guys were paying attention. These are just some examples of the students drawing heat being transferred through conduction. And then it talks about, do you know the Earth's atmosphere is heated in part by conduction? Earth's surface warms up during the day, and the heat from the surface is transferred to the air above it that it is touching. And then you're going to answer this question based upon the picture. Take your quiz. And then that's going to be all for conduction. Hope this helps. Bye.